So the equations that I get with these basic laws and basic laws application to fluid particle or infinitesimal CV, they have slightly different forms. So one is non-conservative and other is conservative form of equations. So but once the equations are obtained, they are fully equivalent. Okay, so this is something very important. Once the equations are obtained, they are fully equivalent. Right. Now let us start with the law of mass conservation. So how can we proceed? I can just consider a fluid particle in the flow domain, and what does law of mass conservation state? It says that mass of the fluid particle must be preserved in time. This is a very simple statement. So as the particle moves, and you now know very well that the particle will deform, it will move, it can rotate. So many things will be happening to the particle, but whatever happens, the mass of a fluid particle must remain same, or it must be preserved in time. So using the usual notation in fluid flows, it means that the material derivative capital D dt of mass of the fluid particle must be 0. So this is the mathematical equivalent of the statement of law of conservation of mass written in the language above. So once this material derivative is 0, then we can start working with the mass written as density into volume of the particle. And then we continue with this. So material derivative of density, and density is given symbol rho, and the volume, notional volume of the particle written as del V. And then I open this out using the product rule. So, and finally if I divide by the mass of the particle itself, which is rho delta V, we get an equation of this type: 1 by rho dt plus 1 by delta V and d by dt of the quantity delta V. Now you will recognize this, that the second term 1 by delta V d by dt of delta V, this is, how do you read it? You can read it as rate of change of volume of the fluid particle that we are considering per unit volume. So rate of change of volume of the fluid particle per unit volume. So what is this? This is nothing but the volumetric strain rate. So, and what is volumetric strain rate? It we have already shown and we have derived in the earlier lectures. It is simply divergence of the velocity field. So it was a very simple matter to arrive at continuity equation, which is being labeled as G dot 1. See, G means the governing equations. Okay, so all my governing equations, I'll keep on labeling them as G.1, G.2, like that. So G.1, first equation, governing, and this is the non-conservative form of the continuity equation. Notice the presence of the material derivative of density in this equation. Because you have considered an individual single fluid particle and you have written a mass conservation principle to that, that's why you see some Lagrangian derivatives or terms in this equation. This is the general pattern with all kinds of governing equations when we obtain them using fluid particle approach. Okay, so all non-conservative forms will contain some sort of Lagrangian derivatives or material derivatives. So the above derivation, it demonstrates that you can directly just use the physical principle, apply it to the mass, apply it to the fluid particle, and you can directly arrive at the governing equation. Now just to compare and show you, although I will not be following this approach in this course, the control volume 1 I will not be following, but just to show you when I say that why I prefer the direct approach of fluid particle, you will just to make that clear in your mind, I have just shown how we can obtain a differential form of continuity using an infinitesimal control volume. So we can utilize the infinitesimal control volume approach and obtain the equation of continuity. How we do it? we first consider a fixed non-deforming finite control volume. Remember, so first I don't consider an infinitesimal control volume. I first consider a finite fixed non-deforming control volume. Now fixed and non-deforming is just for the sake of my convenience, okay, that's all. So control surface, it has a control surface, and you can see that on the surface element I have the instantaneous velocity vector and the normal unit normal area vector n cap, and it has a magnitude ds. So using Reynolds transport theorem and applying it for mass of the mass as a system property, because if you know, as you have learnt in your earlier courses, the Reynolds transport theorem can be written for any extensive property of the system. So in this case, mass is the property of interest because we are trying to apply the law of conservation of mass. So I say dm dt of the system which is coinciding with this control volume at a certain time instant, that material derivative should be 0. And that 0 is equal to, by Reynolds transport theorem, the two terms. One is the volume term, and so integral rho dv, and the partial derivative with time is outside. Of course, this is outside because in general the control volume may be deforming also, or maybe not fixed, so its limits may be changing in time. But in this case we have considered a very simple case of fixed and non-deforming, so we can easily push this material derivative inside the volume integral. The second integral is the surface integral of rho into velocity vector, which basically dot n, of course, dot n cap ds. So what is this term? This is the net mass flow rate through the surface of the instantaneous mass flow rate through the surface of the control volume. So since control volume is rigid and non-deforming, so as I've said in the first term, the time partial derivative can be taken inside, so del rho del t, and then the second term by Gauss theorem can be replaced in terms of the volume integral. By now you are familiar with all this, Gauss theorem and all. आप अपनी sheet में भी देख सकते हैं आइडेंटिटी थ्योरम की, वहां से रो वी जो है वो एक वेक्टर की तरह विजुलाइज करिए, तो रो वी डॉट एन डी एस, सो इट इज ए डॉट एन डी एस, एंड दिस विल बी इक्वल टू वॉल्यूम इंटीग्रल ऑफ डाइवर्जेंस ऑफ ए, सो ए इज रो टाइम्स वी, so that's why the second term is written. And then you can combine the two volume integrals and you have a single integral, and the result is a big zero. So now look at the argument that I have to invoke now. Since the integral on the right hand side is 0, and we also recognize that the limits of the integral or volume are arbitrary. Arbitrary क्यों है? क्योंकि ये volume तो कैसे भी ले सकते हैं, इसका कोई fixed shape नहीं है, कोई fixed size नहीं है. Somebody can take a bigger one, somebody can take a smaller one, and somebody can choose in a different shape. तो आप चाहे कोई शेप लें, कोई साइज लें, whatever may be the size and shape of the control volume, the result that we are now facing, the del rho del t plus divergence of rho v and its volume integral is 0, that we will get in all cases. So it means that this is only possible if the integrand is 0. Okay, definite integrals जो होते हैं वो बगैर इंटीग्रेंड के 0 होने के बजाय भी 0 आ सकते हैं. दैट डिपेंड्स ऑन स्पेसिफिक लिमिट्स. पर अगर आपकी लिमिट्स आर्बिट्ररी हैं और उसके बाद भी डेफिनेट इंटीग्रल 0 है, सो इट मींस दैट द इंटीग्रैंड मस्ट बी 0, बिकॉज दिस इज नॉट पॉसिबल इफ द इंटीग्रैंड इज नॉट 0. ओके, सो आर्बिट्ररी लिमिट्स की वजह से कंक्लूजन इज दैट द इंटीग्रैंड विच इज डेल रो डेल टी प्लस डाइवर्जेंस ऑफ रो इनटू वी, this must be 0, and this is basically the continuity equation that you will get through this approach using infinitesimal control volume approach. Infinitesimal इसलिए कह रहे हैं because eventually the result is for a infinitesimal control volume del rho del t plus del dot rho v. Okay, so this is the governing equation 1 dash. So as you can see, if you compare G1 and G1 dash, they apparently look to be different. Okay, so non-conservative form or conservative form, both don't appear to be identical, they appear to be different. But this difference will soon vanish when I will show you that you can derive one from the other. This is what we say, that the two are equivalent. Okay, when two things are equivalent, it means that if statement 1 and statement 2 are equivalent, it means that if you believe that statement 1 holds, then automatically statement 2 also holds. Or if you believe statement 2 holds, then the statement 1 also holds. So this is the sort of equivalence of these two continuity equations. So now the non-conservative form and conservative form I have just summarized here. So this, as I've said, the non-conservative form applies to a fluid particle that is moving, while conservative form applies to a tiny infinitesimal volume in a space which is fixed, non-deforming, and it is not moving. Okay, so volume is not moving, volume is just an empty thing in space. Okay, fluid is moving through it. So the second equation has a slightly different way of visualizing it. Okay, it applies to a tiny infinitesimal volume which is fixed in space. Okay, and which is of course non-deforming. So this is what how you should be interpreting these two types of continuity equations. Now both are equivalent statements of the same principle, so it is expected that if you start with G1, you should be able to arrive at G1 dash. Okay, ऐसा होना चाहिए, we expect this. Okay, so let us see whether this applies or not. Yes, so we start with G1, and so simple algebraic manipulation in the second step, and in the third step what I am doing is that I am opening the material derivative. Okay, so material derivative d rho dt is local derivative del rho del t plus v dot grad rho. So the first two terms are due to the material derivative, and of course the rho divergence v is retained from the previous steps. And finally I consider the vector identity, which says that if I have a product of a vector and a scalar phi, and I take the divergence, then I can write it as two terms. Okay, a dot grad phi plus phi divergence of a. And now, so what we immediately recognize is that if this scalar phi is suppose that this is density and the vector a is suppose the fluid velocity, then I can directly use this vector identity to say that the two terms in the continuity equation, v dot grad rho plus rho times divergence of v, they can be combined into a single term, which you can see on the right. So I have the final continuity, which is G.1 dash, exactly, right? Del rho del t plus divergence of rho v is equal to 0. So this is what I mean when I say that we started with G1 and we have ended at G1 dash. So both are, it means that both are two sides of the same coin actually. And what is that coin? Coin is the law of mass conservation. Okay, and it is applied in some sort of a differential sense. Okay, in one case it's a smallest entity, which is a fluid particle, non-conservative form, and in the other extreme case we have a tiny infinitesimal volume which is fixed and non-deforming in space. So since the approach is slightly different, so that's why the terms rearrange themselves accordingly, and the equations are equivalent, they are same, but since the nature in which the terms combine, so they give a different look. Okay, so from this point onwards I will not be following the control volume approach for momentum and other equations. So दिस इज जस्ट टू शो यू कि अगर आप कंट्रोल वॉल्यूम रूट से आते हैं तो उसमें यू हैव मोर वर्क टू डू in terms of choosing the control volume, using the Reynolds transport theorem, using the Gauss theorem, and finally arriving at your differential result. So rather than using a more arduous route, we simply follow the more direct route of using a particle and writing the law directly and arriving at the equations. Eventually the equations are all equivalent. So मैं कभी भी चाहूंगा तो मैं अपने नॉन कंजर्वेटिव इक्वेशंस को कन्वर्ट कर सकता हूं कंजर्वेटिव फॉर्म्स में. So that can always be managed later on through manipulations at mathematical level. Okay, now more important things are certain observations on these equations that I have. The first and very important observation is we first talk of an incompressible flow model. This is a very widely exploited flow model which can be you can apply to a large क्लास ऑफ फ्लोज. ओके, बहुत से हमारे प्रैक्टिकल फ्लोज ऐसे हैं जिन पे हम ये मॉडल अप्लाई कर सकते हैं. व्हाट इज दिस इनकम्प्रेसिबल फ्लो मॉडल? लेट अस ट्राई टू just quickly understand this. So the basic feature in this model, the way I perceive this, and I would like you also to understand this idea. Remember, if I say that a flow can be assumed as incompressible, what does it mean? I mean that density changes for individual fluid particles. I again repeat, density changes for individual fluid particles. That's why I have stressed on these three keywords and their effects. Okay, तो डेंसिटी चेंजेस इंडिविजुअल फ्लूइड पार्टिकल्स के और उनके इफेक्ट्स जो हैं वो नेग्लिजिबल अगर हैं किसी फ्लो में, तो then we can treat the flow as incompressible. Okay. Now when we say this, what do we mean from the point of view of continuity? Continuity इस fact को अगर absorb करते हैं आप continuity में, let's see what kind of results we get. Anyway, first look at the important note that I have written. Different fluid particles may have different densities. तो इसका ख्याल रखना है. When we say that the flow is incompressible, हमने कहीं पर भी ये नहीं फिक्स किया हुआ है कि डिफरेंट पार्टिकल्स की डेंसिटी अलग नहीं हो सकती है. ओके, आई विल गिव यू एग्जांपल्स वेयर दिस इज वेरी मच द केस, whereas the flow itself is incompressible. Remember, density changes for an individual particle is what is to be neglected or what is to be taken as zero, okay, in incompressible flow model. Nowhere we are saying that density variations across different particles are also to be neglected. We are simply saying density changes for individual particles, fluid particles are negligible. Now, giving you examples where you exactly have this kind of a situation where the flow is incompressible but there are significant density variations across different particles. Consider the motion of, let's say, when you are mixing, let's say, milk in a coffee and you pour milk and then you stir, then during the mixing process there is a motion of coffee and milk together. So motion of coffee being mixed with milk is an example where wherever coffee is more, there the particle densities would be different, and wherever milk is more, the densities would be different. So we expect different particles in such a motion having different densities. But if you start following one particle in this, okay, चाहे वो milk particle हो, coffee particle हो या hybrid mix particle हो, आप कोई एक particle follow करेंगे तो उसकी density जो है वो time के साथ change नहीं हो रही होगी. Okay, that is what the idea is. Similar is the story with motion of water in sea and oceans. In seas and oceans, there is a lot of temperature variation from the top and the bottom sections of the oceans or seas, and there are also salt concentration variations in the water. So because of these thermal and salt concentration variations, if you take fluid particles at different depths, you will find that their densities vary. Okay, so different particles of different densities again in this case. Similar is the story with when there is air rising from a lighted cigarette. Those who smoke cigarettes can easily relate to this example. So you see air rising from a lighted cigarette in the form of smoke. Okay, smoke is just acting as tracer particles and it is making you visualize the flow of air. So there also there are differences in the density of different particles. Okay, because as the air rises from the cigarette, then particles which are coming from very close to the cigarette will have different temperatures, so different densities, and particles which are coming from a little bit away from the cigarette, they are being sucked into the rising current of air, so they will have different temperatures and different densities. So this is another example where densities may differ for different particles, but if you start tracking one particle, then its density will not be changing very significantly. So which means that you need to have a very clear conception of what is an incompressible flow. Many times when we ask students, they simply start saying density is constant. This is a wrong answer for an incompressible flow. Okay, so mathematically अगर आपको आंसर करना है what is an incompressible flow, you must say that the material derivative of density with time should be zero. Material derivative automatically means for a individual fluid particle. Now if you absorb this with the continuity, and of course now which continuity you will use? You will use G.1 because it has that derivative 1 by rho d rho dt. So if you use that continuity, absorb the incompressible flow scenario into it, then you simply have the very interesting result del dot V as 0, or the volumetric strain rates in all in individual particles should be 0. So this is physical also, because once you are conserving the mass and you are also conserving the density of individual fluid particle, then obviously the volume must also get conserved for individual fluid particles. So del dot V is 0. So there is a strong physical and mathematical consistency in everything. So velocity field is divergence free. This is a very famous result in fluid mechanics, you can say. The moment you start talking of an incompressible flow model, then you will say that velocity field must be divergence free. Right. So let us now move forwards. This is true for whether the flow is steady or unsteady. Remember, इसमें कहीं पर भी कोई steady और unsteadiness की कोई argument नहीं invoke की गई है. So divergence free velocity criterion for incompressible flow is a general one, whether the flow is steady or unsteady. Now we look at what happens to a steady flow. Okay, steady flow, as you already know or are aware, what is a steady flow? A flow is steady if any flow variable or property is not a function of time. It may vary in space. So we know this already. So now we need to find out which continuity G.1 or G1 dash has this kind of a term. So if you see that, you will find that G.1 dash, or the conservative form, has a direct term del rho del t. So if the flow is steady, then del rho del t must be 0. So we are left with divergence of rho into V. So not V alone, but rho V. So for a steady flow, the continuity equation allows you to have a simplified version, which is divergence of rho V is 0, or rho V product, scalar density and vector velocity, must be divergence free. This happens for a steady flow. Okay. Now this third one is very interesting, because this has also a lot of applications में काफी इसका use है. So that's why I am discussing this here. Homogeneous flow. Now what is a homogeneous flow? Let us try to understand this. A flow is said to be homogeneous if density variations across different fluid particles at a given instant can be neglected. Okay. So a flow is said to be homogeneous if density variations across different fluid particles at a given instant can be neglected. तो इसका मतलब homogeneity is like a instantaneous concept. Okay, So it means you can talk of homogeneity in a flow field at a certain instant of time. So what is and its connection is with density only. So no other property is being talked about in a homogeneous flow. So we say that density variations across different fluid particles, यानी हम अलाउ नहीं कर रहे हैं डेंसिटी वेरिएशन, हम ये कह रहे हैं कि डेंसिटी वेरिएशंस अक्रॉस डिफरेंट फ्लूइड पार्टिकल्स एट अ गिवन इंस्टेंट ऑफ टाइम कैन बी निग्लेक्टेड, या तो वो इतने स्मॉल है कि उनको आप निग्लेक्ट कर सकते हैं. दैट्स द आइडिया. So such a flow, if you normally when you deal with any kind of flow in the laboratory, when you go to carry out experiments, physical experiments, dealing with water and all, so you will normally assume a homogeneous flow there. Okay, and not just at one instant but all times, because normally the variation in water particle densities across different particles would be very, very small. Now if that is the case at an instant, let us see what we can how we can absorb this in the continuity equation. Now again here we would like to use G.1 dash, because only this continuity equation has got partial derivatives of density either with time or with the space. So in case of homogeneous flow, we are neglecting density variations in space at a certain instant of time. So if that is the case, then I can take density out of the space operator, which is the divergence of rho v. Okay, so divergence rho v में से मैंने जो density है उसको simply I have taken it out, or rather if you can just recall, जो आपका divergence rho v था वो दो टर्म से बना हुआ था, v dot grad rho plus rho times divergence v. Now since density is not a function of space coordinates, so grad rho is 0, so therefore that term is 0 and you are left with only one term, which is rho times divergence of v. So the continuity equation G.1 dash for homogeneous flow looks like this at an instant, of course. Now if we further have an incompressible flow, now this is interesting. Suppose एक flow incompressible भी है और homogeneous भी है. Okay, so velocity field may be steady or unsteady, whatever, दोनों ही cases के लिए मैं बात कर रहा हूँ. So velocity field may be steady or may be unsteady, but I say that the flow is homogeneous at a certain time instant and is also incompressible. Then I can take forward this homogeneous flow continuity, and then divergence of v would be 0 because of the incompressible flow condition. So therefore I am left with only del rho del t as 0. So what it tells me, at all points in flow domain the time variation of density is 0. So I started with a homogeneous flow at a certain time instant, and at that time the density was same across different particles, so at all points in the flow domain. And if the flow was also incompressible, then there will be no change in time, because del rho del t will be del rho del t at all points will be 0. So it means that there is no change in density from that initial state with time. So it means essentially, if I want to conclude that if at some time instant the flow is homogeneous and is also incompressible, then the flow remains homogeneous for all subsequent times. Of course, assuming that it is always incompressible. तो अगर वो incompressible है और homogeneous है एक particular time instant पे, तो फिर वो all subsequent time instants पे homogeneous ही रहेगा, because del rho del t is 0. This is something very important. So we often encounter incompressible and homogeneous flows in engineering practice. तो इंजीनियरिंग प्रैक्टिस में ऐसे बहुत से फ्लोज हम देखेंगे, या उस पे हम ये दो कंडीशंस इंपोज करते जाएंगे. हम ये मानेंगे कि फ्लो इनकम्प्रेसिबल है, और साथ में अगर एक टाइम इंस्टेंट पे होमोजेनाइटी है तो फिर हमने कंटिन्यूटी से ऑलरेडी ये प्रूव कर दिया है कि इफ द फ्लो इज इनकम्प्रेसिबल and homogeneous at a certain time instant, then for all subsequent times it will remain homogeneous. So it means that incompressible homogeneous flows go together, or there is no problem of compatibility of the two. So when we say that flow is incompressible and homogeneous, the final conclusion is, in terms of mathematics, that velocity field must be divergence free because we say that the flow is incompressible, and homogeneity for all times implies that rho must be a simple constant value. Okay, that means it is neither going to be varying in space and nor it varies with time. This is something very interesting, even though the flow may be unsteady. Okay, यहाँ पे थोड़ा सा कॉन्सेप्ट इन्वॉल्व है कि फ्लो अनस्टेडी हो सकता है, तो वो अनस्टेडीनेस आपको वेलोसिटी फील्ड में दिखेगी. ओके, एंड दैट विल बी ड्यू लेटर ऑन एज वी विल डिराइव द मोमेंटम इक्वेशंस. वहां पे आपको उसका इफेक्ट दिखेगा, unsteadiness in the velocity field. But as far as the continuity equation says, even if the incompressible homogeneous flow is unsteady, then del dot v is equal to 0 applies, and rho must be a constant which I have simply called as rho naught. यानी पूरी फ्लो डोमेन के लिए एक फिक्स्ड डेंसिटी आप ले सकते हैं because of the homogeneity aspect combined with incompressible condition. So इस तरह से हम continuity equations के कुछ effective uses हैं जो हम कर सकते हैं in inferring and deepening our understanding of a certain type of flow. That was the idea of this, all this discussion on continuity. Finally, to conclude, what is on the other hand, there can be incompressible non-homogeneous flows, which we also call as stratified flows. Okay, incompressible stratified flows, and obviously in these flows you expect that del dot v must be 0 because the flow is still incompressible, but you will allow density to vary in space as well as in time. Okay, so this is something very important. Okay, so जो एग्जाम्पल्स मैंने दिए थे थोड़ी देर पहले, जहाँ पे मैंने इनकम्प्रेसिबल के बारे में बताया था, वहाँ पे कुछ एग्जाम्पल्स दिए थे, जैसे कॉफी मिक्सिंग विद मिल्क एंड वाटर इन द ओशन एंड सीज going through motions and currents in the oceans and seas, and also that smoke rising from, let's say, lighted cigarette, or maybe even smoke rising from chimneys. So there we have an incompressible stratified flow. Okay, so all those flows were examples of incompressible non-homogeneous or stratified flows where density was varying across different particles. So that's why it varies in space and time, and but the flow is incompressible. So individual particles को अगर आप लेके चलेंगे तो उनका volume strain rate would be 0. Del dot v is 0. So we come to an end to this lecture, and we will go through series of lectures now on other basic physical laws. So in my next lecture I will start looking at the Newton's second law of motion. I'll apply it to a particle and develop what we call as the linear momentum equation for a fluid particle. Thank you very much.